something they're actually quite well known for is these bursts of aggression, being they come. beastik good for the first. BnTeT removed from play early, start things off, looking for a second as well as he makes his way up. jkaem forced off the angle, forced back on towards his A bomb site. Already a fantastic start for Sinners. They've picked up the initial frag, and now can they convert this? The flashbang comes through and catches off one, but NEOFRAG good for one. So is beastik, of course. They're shutting things down in a matter of seconds. It's Gratisfaction and Liazz left in a 2 versus 5 for all to do. What a fantastic start from the Czech side.
And Gratisfaction still manages to land a scratch there, but the double nade from beastik in Shock is good to clear out boost. Really good attention to detail. And that's why Sinners end up getting the first round.
In favor as well. A Shock is just waiting there.
Ooh, Gratisfaction. Have to quickly clear everything out within the span of 30 seconds and get these kills going. Oh, this is so tough for them. They can't really get onto the side. Sinners, they're so starved for time. ZEDKO finds one. He picks up the second, and that should be good enough for him to start getting the bomb down. Azur, he managed to drop the bomb down. That's good enough. They can't get the bomb in time. They must get the kills, but Liazz is there to stop it. NEOFRAG desperately chasing Liazz, but that's simply not enough. The pistol round, and Sinners, they're constantly going to be having a bit of an economic disadvantage because of what happened. BnTeT showing a nade lined up. Maybe that's good enough for initial damage, but can they get this retake?
Yeah, he's just something special here. It's the 4 versus 4, so could really go either way. Nice little doubles kind of locked down here. The crossfire could work in their favor. Shock picks one towards Gratisfaction, takes them an advantage, and now these 3 remaining players are forced into a bit of an awkward situation. The Molotov also drops in towards front side, but oskar is good for one. Look, shut things down. He's good for a second before he's traded out. BnTeT now picking up frags, bringing it back to a 2 versus 1, but it's all onto that man. He has to go absolutely huge as a here. It's a 2 versus 1. They're not peeking at all. They won't even give him the opportunity. He might tap on the bomb, but he's run away, taking a couple of shots, and no, he's not on it. He is just going to fall away, and it's going to be a second round on the board for Sinners. Only 1 player remaining alive, but regardless.
Immediately after winning the pistol, but now that they've gotten a second round on the board, they can start to piece something together. BnTeT, very nice individual play.
It's way in now. BnTeT will be tested once again. He's trying to be good for a first, but has been spotted, has been removed. Shock and beastik open things up and bring it back to a man advantage in favor now of the T side. Gratisfaction with the scout, though, good for one of his own. Molotovs were exquisite on the T side, but this nade coming through could be damaging ZEDKO. The Molotov as well. You're forced out into an awkward angle. Gratisfaction has played that to perfection. It's all onto oskar. The experience got to go huge, and he doesn't even manage to get one. It's Gratisfaction who shuts things down with a 3K in the round, gifting EXTREMUM a 4th on the board. And what a retake from them, eh?
This is
oskar picking up an AWP is always a scary thought.
NEOFRAG. This time around, they actually end up punishing BnTeT for his plays, and what was actually working out for EXTREMUM before will turn into their biggest weakness. So up close, so personal, but so risky. 2 kills for NEOFRAG, and for good reason. They've telegraphed their plays around the smoke, and they'll get punished for it immediately. Azur and Liazz now holding onto the beast side. Liazz, good spray down, but
isn't bad by any means for EXTREMUM, but there's no point throwing away an AK in a 3 versus 1. I think he might just attempt to go for exit frag. Performance on the T side is by no means bad at all. If they can, similar to Nuke, you know, 6 or 7 rounds, it's a solid T side nonetheless. A 3rd round.
Will have to single-handedly stop this push coming in mid. Oh no, he switched away at the wrong time, but the spray down will still work out for him. The AWP peaks, but oskar will fail.
EXTREMUM, they're so good at turning these situations. They lose a round, they're so good at turning it back in their favor. jkaem gets one towards NEOFRAG. It's all down to ZEDKO. Could be good for 1, and we'll do exactly that. Nearly falls off the map, though. That was close, to say the least. 55 seconds remaining on the clock. It's 1 versus 4, and he has been flanked from all angles. It seems like a matter of time before ZEDKO is removed. And 6th round on the board for EXTREMUM. They have been brilliant, though, while we're seeing the special side here, and Gratisfaction finishes things off. It's 6th on the board for EXTREMUM.
Close. But beastik's not checking this either. It's a bit of a stalemate, but in the meantime, they've already gotten work done on the beast side. There's kills coming their way on both sides. but the B site will eventually be where they decide to go. As they're all alone this time, good attention to detail. They're planting the bomb in a different spot so they don't get naded out. 3v2, the CT's still at the advantage.
Yeah, agreed here. Now we've seen the retakes work in favor for Extremum, but no one Oscar has an AWP in hand. Nice shot from him, dropping BnTeT, bringing it back to 2 versus 2. Looking as well, has the information on one. Now he just needs to wait and hold. Smoke coming through, does not miss those as it dropped. And Oscar's gone absolutely nuclear. Picks up a 3K and could decide how the second half plays out on map number 1. Well, his aggression towards mid, and jkaem will be this first one of contact. He's good for 1, but it will only be 1. Gratisfaction gets one of his own as well. ZEDKO, good for the trade onto jkaem, but still the man advantage remains with the CT side. Oskar good for 1, but Gratisfaction, brilliant from him, isn't it?
To be a player on stairs. Now, this is it. Does this timing work out? Nope, it doesn't. ZEDKO comes out on top, and Extremum in a hard place.
Yeah, hard place, to say the least. Now, Liazz in a 1v2 retake, and information may have been gathered there. They are just doubling up to hold the position. Nice little crossfire as well as they play around the smokes. A re-smoking as well from ZEDKO gives them an advantage, but I thought for a second Liazz would have lined that one on decision. Still all 5 players remaining for both, but they are making their way towards jkaem in with a close angle. He's good for 1 towards beastik. A Molotov in, forced them back on the angle, and jkaem has gone absolutely huge. Drop in NEOFRAG as well, picking up 2 early frags with 25 seconds. Sinners are in a tough place here.
Yeah, I think Extremum might be able to capitalize on this very easily as well. BnTeT, amazing position for him. Easy pickings. ZEDKO and Oskar will fall, and I'm not going to be surprised if Shock will follow soon.
Still all 5 remain for both sides. NEOFRAG will have heard the steps. The double swing coming in, not working. The favorite as NEOFRAG opens things up. It's a nice kill on. Just see if they can bring it back to a 4 versus 4. The double up in towards short that could work in their favor, and it doesn't. jkaem picking up 1. beastik one of his own though. The spring coming through. BnTeT good for 1, but they don't clear the close angle, and NEOFRAG's good for only 1. He whiffs his line in seconds, and jkaem somehow manages to stay alive. He's managed to bring us back to a 1 versus 1 against all odds. It's all down to beastik.
2 for beastik, 3 for jkaem. jkaem would have to double it, and beastik would have to tie it. Can they? Oh no, beastik! What a shot from him!
I thought jkaem somehow, against all odds, managed to make that work in his favor and bring it back.
So he's 3 odd bullets away from being taken away. beastik now starting to aggress. The deagle will start to miss, and this is where they're showing their own aggression. Oskar comes around with a deagle. He's missed a couple shots, but on his way out, he'll get a 1 dig. Azur and jkaem now up against Shock and ZEDKO, and as I say that, Shock is no longer with us. ZEDKO, MP9 in hand, the 2 AKs that
favor. Sort of crossfire here though. jkaem, I don't know if he'll play this close angle, but it's Azur in towards sandbags. He picks up the frag, and Extremum.
4 players ready and waiting. Can he connect? His position given away. ZEDKO will fall, and that's already the buy being destroyed for Sinners should they decide to go for it.
Yeah, the bomb planted now in 4.
To go to, okay, it was their map pick, but we haven't really seen them play it enough to make the judgment that they would be able to beat.
We saw him pick up that 3K earlier and worked in his favor. ZEDKO peaks, good for 1. Azur punished. ZEDKO caught out by a flashbang. Will drop a smoke as well as he just attempts to hide into his box. It's BnTeT who picks up the trade though, bringing it back to a 4 versus 4. Oskar the AWP holding the close angle with Shock. He spams through in towards back pillar. Liazz just managing to stay alive. And nades dropped in towards CT. The bomb is planted. Now the retake from Sinners once again needs to be exquisite.
Oh man, jkaem, because of his position, he's completely battered the defenses of Sinners. Again and again, we see them tucking their tails and running away because Extremum were so good at actually getting onto the sites. Sinners don't have the same kind of response that we saw Extremum using. We saw the duo of Gratisfaction and BnTeT having the ramp under lock and key, but if you look at Sinners, they don't have any...
From the Aussie side, they're making it work. NEOFRAG spots one though, and an nade dropping in. beastik will be able to pick up the frag, and nade coming through as well.
We wanted to come out from Sinners, wasn't it? We wanted them to take control of ramp, have a flashbang, have a molly, and this is it. This is BnTeT at Gratisfaction being copied down to the wire. BnTeT alone. Very
extreme, and they'll be very comfortably able to buy into the next. They made their way aggressive up ramp, and beastik's already been tested, and beastik being dropped. Liazz picks up the first kill. Gratisfaction traded up by NEOFRAG. He brings it back to a 4 versus 4. The rotate has already been called. The 3 players over towards a bomb site. The aggression works in their favor for that initial frag, but then didn't carry on in terms of a round. Or going closer as well. And this flashbang coming over could be lethal. Shock picks up a kill on jkaem. The flashbang is sublime, and Liazz drop. What a resurgence. Shock's gone absolutely huge, and NEOFRAG finishes things off. It's 3 for NEOFRAG. If Sinners turn things around heading into round number 2, this could be well on the way to a 2-0. But it's all about the turn on. NEOFRAG's good for 1. It's only 1. Liazz makes 2 despite being flashed. The nade coming through. It's good for the trade though. In the 3 versus 3.
Good Molotov from Oskar to quickly get himself into a better position. Shock with a nade follow-up. It doesn't connect too well, but Oskar is nicely positioned to get the first frag. Gets caught out by BnTeT, but it's still down to a 2 versus 2. A smoke and a flash is available. BnTeT gets spotted by ZEDKO, and that's a bit of a risky play coming in from him. 1 minute and 12 seconds on the clock. Gratisfaction has this burden on his shoulders because he knows that if they don't get this round, out by him scoping. But Shock, he's in a great position. It's just 1 bullet away from certain death.
And now it's 13-all. I mean, Extreme, they must be feeling the pressure, right? Especially with Gratisfaction spotted and Gratisfaction dropped as well. And NEOFRAG picking up that. Oskar though, good for 1 as he drops Azza. The quick trade, jkaem dropping NEOFRAG brings it back to a 4 versus 3, but still remain with the man advantage, and that's made it even better. ZEDKO's good for 1 on towards Liazz. Shock spotted and dropped by BnTeT, and with jkaem dropping ZEDKO, they've essentially got a 3B bomb site here. Now it's a 2v2 retake, and EXTREMUM, against all odds, have managed to pull off a bomb plant here. Now it's all up to beastik and Oskar to retake this.
Tagged up quite a bit. A great flashbang coming in from stairs, so he's trying to assist jkaem, and that flashbang is good enough for jkaem to get a quick... Well, because they have so much information off of beastik's position. Oskar finds the first shot. NEOFRAG is ready for 2. That's complete destruction, and even if they can linger on here for a little while, Gratisfaction and Liazz, it doesn't matter because beastik's right behind them, and those taking a good chunk of damage. Will they retaliate with their own nades? Sinners are actually in a perfect setup to respond to all the ramp control that is coming. Going to push straight out of it. That might actually work to their detriment now. NEOFRAG, nade goes out. Liazz completely obliterated by it. Bomb starting to get recovered, and this is where the spam starts to come in. No nades, and this is where the retake happens. 4 versus 2, Azza and BnTeT. Looking very worried here, man. What do you even do against that? NEOFRAG spamming onto BnTeT. Very little chances there. 15 to 14. Sinners in a situation where we honestly didn't expect it at all. They've somehow brought it back. So but now that's 3 players that are very close to getting dinked by just 1 M4 bullet. Oskar and NEOFRAG tagging things up. This has to be the round. No whether they can come back to this, and beastik so well. Straight up, moving into short. They've denied so many points of entry. And it all just comes down to the aim duels now. Azza and Liazz tag teaming up to quickly get these kills. But Gratisfaction and BnTeT, they'll finish the...
In towards Dink comes through as well. Liazz needs to go huge at holding from balcony. He's got an auto. Fine. Liazz good for 1. Make that 2 as well. Gratisfaction trying to find something on his own. Won't manage to find Azza yet. But in from behind, jkaem shutting down beastik. Oskar good for 1. It's trade central here. But it's EXTREMUM who pick up the 3rd.
Starting to sweat, and this position from Liazz might be good enough to surprise 1, but Shock, off of the reaction from Liazz, tries to spam.
Favor. It's all about who spots who first, who turns around when here. The shots come off. beastik is good for the first. Liazz forced back into the pit. Azza good for the trade though, and he picks up another one to a Shock, and BnTeT in from behind picks up 2. That's huge. Just like that in a matter of seconds. It's all down to the AWP, and he needs to go absolutely nuclear here.
For Oh, it's happening again.
Oh no.
8 stack, NEOFRAG with 2 quick kills. Gratisfaction in the midst of all the chaos. He's managed to pick one with his AWP, but he's tagged down so heavily with only 15 points of health that it'll actually be an ask and a half for him to get anything done. And this is where the safe call from the IGL comes in. There's no way they're going to try to risk that AWP.
Start building up some long-term economy of their own. We'll see this one plays out regardless. First round on the wall for Sinners. They're finally off the mark on their map pick.
WP unsuccessful, and that allows Sinners a little bit more space to work with coming down mid, but jkaem mows them down with the assist. Knocks him out of position. Gratisfaction re-peeking from the pillar, another Molotov to make sure that he can't sneak away into dark, but he can still shimmy around this pillar. Azur in the meantime, the flank is there, and beastik, although he was there to watch the flank, instead he's just going to be brushing up on his CSGO skills all the way in the library, which allows his team to get information and also keeps Sinners from really aggressing forward without a doubt. But this time, Oskar, he's not going to be on the receiving end. EXTREMUM, I'm expecting an adjustment to come out from them, and this is where beastik's expecting it too. jkaem immediately responds. He knows that he can't let them get away with 2 free kills. A 3v5 would have been near undoable. So he goes for the gamble, and it works out. 3-on-4. Apartments is the name of the game. They're about to pour out. Liazz is the one defender of the A side, but he can't look away in time. Shock. He's got good control, but Azur is on the prowl, coming in from Boiler. His route has been redirected. Switches over to the AWP. And now this is the call to make. Backing away, allowing 7.
Yeah, I mean, Sinners displeased, may I say, by what we've seen so far from Sinners. However, NEOFRAG gets one towards jkaem, leaving all onto Azur to try and keep all his AWP. It's asking a lot, as he will be chased. They have a sort of economy in terms of long-term and the man to do so, but he will probably manage to keep hold of it, and it will be a second round on the wall for Sinners. They go within 4, but it is still within 4. Problematic. Flashbang comes through. ZEDKO manages to avoid it, but jkaem's got a nice angle here. He's removed regardless. ZEDKO go for the frag there.
Gratisfaction being kept on his toes. Finds a frag. But in the meantime, we can see that the main action is about to happen on A.
Yeah, now shots coming in, but it's Liazz. He's good for 1, dropping ZEDKO. It's a big frag, bringing it back to a 3 versus 3, but he'll be traded out by Shock. Liazz getting 1, but it's only a consolation as Oskar pulls off the trade and picks up a beautiful second. And now brings it back to 1 versus 1. It's BnTeT versus Oskar, and of course BnTeT goes absolutely huge there. Picks up an AWP and a 7th round on the board as well. Sublime stuff from EXTREMUM to pick up a 7th.
That was from BnTeT, and a bit of a slip up coming from Sinners overall. beastik, 2 frags to get him onto the A side. Those are 2 incredible opening frags. Gratisfaction tucks himself away, and now immediately they know that the call for the save has to be made. That's 3 rounds for Sinners. And looking back, in hindsight, it initially looked like EXTREMUM were... You'll see what happens. Sinners, they run away with a couple more, and that's already, like I said, with them top to delay them further. The rotations are coming in, but can they come in soon enough? The flashbang will make sure that jkaem tucks away into his own Molotov, and BnTeT's got a good spray down. He's even going for the flashbang, but how long can he hold it off? A player is coming in from Coffin, and support is starting to come in. Second flashbang, BnTeT individually denying control of the site entirely.
A comfortable plant, but it's all about the post plant. We mentioned they've struggled a little bit in terms of these post plant positions. Do they have it in them? Oscar's holding in towards Archers. We'll get 1 as well. It's a big frag. Drops Gratisfaction, drops the AWP. Now it's a deagle and an AK to find. And with BnTeT on low HP, despite picking up 3 kills, they're going to double up into his apps and maybe make this work in their favor. AWP is picked up by a shot. Oscar's good for 1. Liazz dropped. It's all down to 1-man BnTeT with the AK, and he's dropped by Oskar as well. Of course he is. It's full.
Ready with the Molotov to delay them, but I'm guessing they're ready for it too. BnTeT burning up, swings out. This time he's not going to be pulling off any heroics. Bomb, comfortable plant, and EXTREMUM. 4 players.
Pretty smart decision. Let's go with that. They keep hold of it regardless. 6th round on the board for Sinners. They're 1 behind EXTREMUM, and this has become...
Round A seems to be the one thing that they get right.
Yeah, but as aggressive, good for 1, but will only be 1. Shock picking up the frag. Break for something. The spray coming through. Catches the feet of BnTeT. 86 HP. The CDEC gonna look good for 1, but it will only be good for 1. Shock in bit of the trade, but in from behind. jkaem from boost picks up 1. Not traded either, so manages to pull this into a 2 versus 2 and becomes slightly favorable for the CT side.
That's still the bomb down in the favor of Sinners, though. Liazz, does he get checked by NEOFRAG? Neo trying to get the drop on the angle. Micro movements to peek into him. Headshot secured. jkaem falls, and that's the tie.
It's around number 15. Swing coming through as it could be good for 1 here. It's all about who he sees first, but Shock who picks up the frag. Sinners taking them.
Player that could have helped Liazz out all the way to B. And this is where the utility is raining in. Gratisfaction finally comes through in the nick of time. NEOFRAG not checking the angle, and despite the wrong call, despite sending a critical player away, they still come out on top, and EXTREMUM off the back. Now, Motto has been smoked out. A flashbang to assist their teammates to drop out of apartments. Molotov to clear out the close angle. Shock, however, will get a free firing gallery here as he stays inside pit. Good for 2. But how much more can he get done?
Yeah, now bomb planted. So 3 versus 4. The retake for Sinners needs to be in fact. Still a fake here. Liazz holding in towards Cubby, trying to make something happen. He's good with the first. beastik dropped. And the second as well. He's looking for a third as well. He's going to get it. What a shutout. Liazz got something happen. The utility expended. Shock needs to be careful on the side. He's flashed and he's dropped. Liazz picks up the first frag. Oskar good for one of his own. He drops Gratisfaction, but ZEDKO now alone on this side. The smoke is all that's in front of him to try and keep him alive. And it will be BnTeT who finishes things off. Just like that, in a matter of seconds already. EXTREMUM, they've taken the A-bomb site and they'll get a relatively free plant.
Go from Molotovs on the side of the pit. They want to make sure that these players will fall, but a little too... EXTREMUM, very quick control of Banana. Sinners are looking like they're running out of options, and that's simply not something we've grown accustomed to. Oskar, oh, he's been denied the opportunity to even try to get a shot here. Informational play might just come out from Azure. That doesn't work. Oscar's peeking right over.
I mean, it's very often cleared as well, and the utility has the ability to. He's going to fall off and just about stay alive. It's only for a few seconds. Well, Gratisfaction picks him up, but Shock with 2, who makes this more doable. Now in a 2 versus 2 retake. The deagle looking for something, but jkaem who picks the frag. It's all down to the AWP, who picks the first. Didn't expect the second player to be there now to him. There's so many angles to clear. He's trying to make it happen. The swing coming in, he picks it up. He picked up a kit as well. He's done it. He's managed to do it. Just about. It was getting very pressured, but he's picked it up, and it's an 8th round on the board. And finally, we see Sinners get off the mark.
Control will be given up to the victor. Double peek comes through. ZEDKO finds a frag. Has to be careful about jkaem peeking in, and I'm a little surprised that jkaem didn't peek in yet, but he's given a second opportunity.
It isn't going to be the easiest to say the least. Spray coming through. Oscar's good for 1. Nice shots from him. NEOFRAG good for 1 of his own. They made this somehow doable as NEOFRAG is forced in towards that coffin position. With low HP, he needs to be careful not to over-aggress. He's picked up 1. Oscar's got 1 of his own. Azure and BnTeT are doing everything they can to set up post-bomb positions, clearing him behind, and it's Azure who picks up the frag. Now it's all down to NEOFRAG.
He's already sitting on 19 kills. They're really unable to convert many rounds.
Nice boost. Oskar could be good for something here. The smokes are dropped in, but this flashbang, the hot flash that goes over towards beastik gets 1 through the smoke and drops Gratisfaction, and now with a man advantage. Yeah, they're all making their way out though, and now the retake will be quite tough. Sinners, they fell for it there, and EXTREMUM, they've played that to perfection. Fire here, Azure and jkaem holding in towards pool. beastik is making his way in through coffin, but the spray comes in. Azure only good for the first, and now jkaem, they need to be wary. Behind jkaem goes good for 2. It's all down to Oskar in a 1 versus 3 with the bomb so far takes. I think he's going to make the smart and informed decision just to try and keep on his AWP. He's good for 1 with them circling him like vultures.
Oh, they even knife him. BnTeT showing a lot.
Starts to expend the utility. Nice flash comes over there, and oskar forced off the angle. The AWP doesn't manage to hit the first time, but it does the second. He's good for first. Gratisfaction gets one of his own, but oskar is picking up a second kill and could even be good for the third as the bomb is dropped in towards mini pits. He spots one, he picks up one. He is shooting them down like they are standing still and making it look easy here.
They've made something great happen before, so a 2v4 isn't out of the cards. Gratisfaction and jkaem, a kill apiece. Gratisfaction 1-on-2, looking around the smoke, peeping right over. He knows that he needs to isolate them, but oskar is quicker. 4 kills for him. He's really been...
Then, but can he do it again here? Molotov dropped in towards close, but on Liazz will push through it. Aggressive. Gratisfaction is good for the first as well. I think they're aware of one. He will be spotted. beastik was only good for one before Liazz in there for the trade. And now with the smoke dropped in towards CT, they've got a 3B bomb site. An easy plant for EXTREMUM, and this retake not going to be the easiest. They've got the man disadvantage. Haven't got the weapon advantage as well with just an MP9 in ZEDKO's hands. This is looking like it might be a 15 on the board. The pressure is starting to build for Sinners. They have such a big advantage here now.
And man, oskar, you can see how desperate he's getting. Does manage to land the shot, but that's at the expense of his helmet. Flying away. jkaem walks out wide for some reason? Question mark.
Yeah, questionable one to say the least. And Sinners, they now have a 5-3 man advantage. Utility makes his way over towards B, and NEOFRAG forced off the angle, nearly hit the shot as well, but through the smoke. beastik good for one, dropping BnTeT. And NEOFRAG with a no scope out of the air. It's all onto Aswin on 1 versus 5. He gets the bomb plant, but that will be most likely the only thing he's going to get here. One kill towards NEOFRAG. A second as well. He's made this more doable here, but he will finally be traded out, and it's 10th on the board. I still think EXTREMUM will be very much pushing this towards a map number 3, but 10 on the board is not too bad, to say the least.
5 rounds of players are going to have very tough duels to take care of, and additional smoke is deployed by the CT side to get them a little bit more. Oh, shock. I love this from him. He swings out, comes in from graveyard, and they've got money, they've got utility, and they've got nothing to lose, so that's exactly what they're playing like.
Mention anything about overtime here, but Sinners, they've picked up 11th, they're only behind. Already we're seeing aggression towards outside. jkaem will be testing towards A. Many spots the first, jumping down, a couple of shots rattle off, and he's good for one shock drop as they go in for the trade. jkaem, though, locking it down from the orange box, making it a bit more of a sticky affair, may I say. Dropped in towards Ven, steps will have been heard. He's being flushed on more angles. It's oskar with spray, just about picking up the frag as they bring it back to 3 versus 3.
Yeah, they're desperately trying to get onto the site, but BnTeT is the one who will stop them from doing exactly that. Liazz, happy to just fire away into them.
It's one of the best there. We see with low HP, though, Sinners. The scout could do damage here. They'll do exactly that. NEOFRAG already dropped Gratisfaction, picks up the first, and once again, EXTREMUM, they pick up that initial kill, and they're so good at turning that into a round. However, beastik good for one.
Holding on to his horses in the cubby, making sure he doesn't die too soon. BnTeT, in the meantime, will have taken down one. Gratisfaction follows. And man, is this unfortunate. Yeah, I thought for a second that maybe the bomb should have gone down by now, but...
Brilliantly played once again, though, from EXTREMUM. They're looking very confident, and their money shows exactly that. We'll see. Oh my god, shock.
The awareness on the man. Has the timing perfect, and ZEDKO will follow suit. Sinners, they're looking to bring it back, looking to have all the action done and dusted with their deagles. And NEOFRAG, he's entered the podium as well. It's just beastik and oskar remaining. Maybe they're gonna pass over the deagle to oskar to try to have him take a shot of that too.
Oh, I thought he may go for the knife here. He might try to line up a couple of kills there. As a good for one and towards beastik. It will be nothing more than a consolation kill. And now they got the information on his position as well. He will be flanked from a couple angles. Oskar holding in towards close. Where's Azza who picks up the frag? They got his position though. Set's been heard, and Azza picks up more. He's been gifted kills left, right, and center. There no Gratisfactions in towards the spawn as well. Azza doesn't even need to overpeak. I mean, a very costly one at that. Azza gifted 3 kills. All things off and could be good for another. It will be beastik though. He picks the frag. Low HP. jkaem will finish things off. Picks up the trade, brings back to a 4 versus 4. Make that a 4 versus 2. As he picks up 2. ZEDKO and NEOFRAG being dropped left, right, and center. Oskar good for one of his own. Will be BnTeT drop shock and
side to even stop them coming in from Ben, so that's a few more seconds for them to at least get back into position. 2 players coming around the Vents area, 1 in decon. He's set it for himself up in a way where he can still take pot shots from observation if he'd like to. Swings out now. Gratisfaction has spotted him. Gets the first frag. Swings out for the second. It's a leg though. That might just be the difference maker. He comes around from observation. Flashbang through. But they're sticking it. Had that not been a leg, Oskar.
Seeing, you know, moments like that again, that is not how you're going to play things. Obviously, teams like Na'Vi, they're very good at leaving things late. Come back down in a second. Gratisfaction good for 1. Nearly a second as well.
Last minute pushes are to the taste of Sinners, but not to the favor of. They're working in their detriment, and now NEOFRAG, although he's found 2 frags, he's still already down to 24 points of health, so EXTREMUM is quickly put in a position where they have to risk very little to even take down NEOFRAG. Has to be a relatively easy kill for them, but it is a how quickly will they push out. EXTREMUM taking their sweet time to get onto the site, but they finally do. NEOFRAG, courtesy of his low HP, he will be eliminated. Shock swings out a second time for even the second frag, but jkaem, he's good enough for the frag. Oh, does he not have time for that? He
doesn't.
Yeah, they actually took way too much time to get onto it. And that's what I was talking about earlier. EXTREMUM, they took sweet time on the retake and fake, make them second guess themselves while the rest of the players from Sinners will move down secret. Gratisfaction single-handedly taking control of Vent. 3-on-3.
Trying to hold him from behind, but we're actually seeing the T side play passive and the CT play aggressive, and his jkaem is punished. Free frag there for BnTeT though on the trade as he brings it back to a 2 versus 2 with ZEDKO on low HP. EXTREMUM are looking slightly more favorable, and they're all quite spaced out here. Azza will have heard the steps, avoids the spam as well. It's perfectly played by him. Doesn't make any noise. Oskar good for 1 towards BnTeT. Catches him jumping down towards Vent now. It's 2 versus 1. They can fall off towards a free A bomb site. Molotov dropped in. They know the last player's towards B. I hold on to Azza. He's in a 1 versus 2. With ZEDKO on low HP, it is doable, but it's asking a lot.
He's trying to make his way there. Does have a flashbang and a nade, and ZEDKO is within nade territory. Doesn't matter, however, because last time Gratisfaction, he is going to be playing a little bit more passively. He's trying to peep around the smoke, and he manages to get beastik.
Slowing this up with beastik down, though. EXTREMUM the man advantage, and he's over aggressive. Can be made better. jkaem good for 1, BnTeT good for 1 of his own. Shot in there for the trade onto jkaem, but they'll all be able to find, leaving now ZEDKO in a 1 verse in the bank for Sinners. Oh, if he had held A main, then it could have worked his favor. Good for 1, but it will only be 1. Azza in there for the trade, gifting.
At least not up against the AKs, and he'll simply be backing off. Ramp control taken by the terrorist side. Oskar won't be allowed the privilege of having a second peek come through. jkaem huddled into lobby, goes wide for a nade, but eventually caught out. BnTeT playing up close, almost finds NEOFRAG, but Neo able to respond in time.
So now in a 4 versus 3, he needs to hit these ones. Timing as he walks away as well, and that's so unfortunate for Liazz. If he'd held that for half a second more, he would have spotted them making their way out of that right side of ramp and could have maybe made that a much more doable round, but regardless.
Yeah, Sinners have actually brought it to a position where they're going to feel very comfortable.
Like 10-5 as they go with so much money, but remaining alive, he's going farming, going hunting. It'll be the nade who picks him up. Liazz finally getting 1 and shutting down this round position. It's oftentimes very hard to judge. He's been pushed from all angles, but not good for the second. beastik picks up the frag. Gratisfaction good for 1 of his own, but traded out by Shock. It's trade central here. As a roll back to a 3 versus 3. goes down now as well, and the retake needs to be exquisite. Utility making their way out of decontamination. oskar, the AWP's holding, missed the shot though. Shock's good for one. BnTeT one of his own, but they might make the early call just to fall away. And with such little time, and even worse, no kits on the CT side, it's going to be an 8th round on the board for Sinners. And there you go, 3 rounds ahead. As he tries to reposition, he can make his way down. Azado will be good for 1. He spots beastik. Gonna drop a smoke as well, but it might be a matter of time before he's dropped, and it will be oskar picking up the trade for Abraham.
It's a good call from the CT side to start getting a bit of control. Liazz eventually spots one out. Timing will work wonders. And Sinners will be caught once again in a very time-sensitive scenario. BnTeT watching the heaven angle. Gets peeked out. NEOFRAG's position is revealed, but it doesn't matter. He's been going wild, and he's making it work. Time and time again for Sinners. He's often the one that you don't really see highlighted in terms of the stats and whatnot, but you can see him stepping up with the kills. Question is whether or not he can piece together 2 quick ones to get the round for his team. No kit on EXTREMUM as well, so not entirely out of the question though. Flashbang comes through, Gratisfaction not missing.
Yeah, of course he doesn't. Being very, very good in this entire series, and finally we see EXTREMUM. They pick up a 6th, and they start to diminish this deficit, let's call it.
Up the half advantage, and it's by a pretty significant lead. If they end up losing this round, it'll be a bit too much to handle going into their T side. It'll hinge way too much on the pistol round, and it looks like Sinners are banking on exactly that. oskar playing the passive angle. He's relying on Gratisfaction to actually push through, because that's the appropriate reaction that could come in from the CT side, and that's exactly what happened. Clock, 1 wrong kill could give away the round. BnTeT avoiding the flash, waits for the lineup, gets the first. ZEDKO with barely any HP still manages to connect, and Azur will fall victim to the AWP of oskar.
Yeah, now in a 1 versus 3, Liazz got it all to find. He's trying to make his way through A main. 1 player to his left, 1 player to his heart, clears the left, but it's deleted by beastik. Cleared it, but doesn't pick up the frag.
They finally start pouring out. Utility comes in, NEOFRAG playing off of the site, and he tried to get a bit cheeky there. Not sure if you noticed, he tried to play around the edge of the molly, but this is too slow of a push coming out from EXTREMUM, and I think one of those layers in between about the caster's curse, I think. Let's see if those AKs can work in their hands. NEOFRAG, too much space given, but space has been reclaimed. Liazz takes a few shots on the way out, but it's all good. Still manages to live. He's taken down NEOFRAG. ZEDKO now looking for a bit more action outside, and all he needs to see is a pixel to find the first frag. He's slowly getting it to the equalizer, with Gratisfaction being tagged up heavily. Azur will fall victim as well, and he gets a 4th tag. He's tagged the entire server on the opposite.
Go for it, because they can still very comfortably buy into next. They are actually going to do that, exactly that. And the low HP as well. They could very easily make this doable. It's a 4 versus 3 retake. They don't have the money advantage, but they definitely have the health advantage. Liazz holding with the AK. He needs to be absolutely crisp here. The MP9 spots, and the MP9 picks up the frag, and they will be able to pick themselves up an AK now as well. With low HP, the MP9 has been put to good use here. Molotov in towards deep as well. beastik swings. Don't know if he spotted the player in towards close ramp. He does, but low HP. Gratisfaction to the frag. Shock. Good for 1. oskar good for 2. And they've done it. A retake. A 4 versus 3 retake against AKs has worked in favor of Sinners. We mentioned that was a bonus round. Well, how's that for a bonus? A 12 on the board, and yeah, that's a crazy one. But it's one thing that you can work on. beastik running. oskar tucks himself in towards stairs. Just want the gun barrel, but it's Gratisfaction who's quicker on the frag. Brings it back to a 4 versus 4, but with low HP, needs to be careful. beastik will have heard the steps as well. And it's ZEDKO who drops BnTeT and drops the bomb. That's huge. The steps of jkaem will have been heard, and they make their way down secret. And in from behind.
Did you see that? He
trigger discipline. Sublime trigger discipline. That's a good for 1, though. 2 players remaining for the T side. M4 trying to find something. They tried to trigger this one to their advantage and now being punished for it. Liazz has picked up one of his own onto his NEOFRAG. Now in from behind, though. I don't know if they'll be too aware of this. Now the double has been open, they are. 2 players to find. Needs to clear all the angles here. Going for the P. The flashbang coming through is perfect. jkaem's blind. Needs to swing in perfectly. He doesn't do it. He doesn't clear the angle despite jkaem being completely blind. They just need to play time here. The AEG trying to rattle off. It's all about who shoots who first. And jkaem does it to perfection. It's a 7th round on the board for Extreme.
Drop the ball there. 5 rounds away now from the tie. Oskar, he's trying to cement 13 on the board, but still 4 players alive on the EXTREMUM side, so we're gonna have to see what they will say about that. beastik laying up close because of that MP9. He's come through, tried to push into vents, but he gets punished. That's the A side control given up basically for free after what was an incredible start to the round. Oskar once again finds himself trying to make it more favorable for. I think the call for a save has already come through.
Yeah, probably the better decision. Oskar good for an exit frag there on towards jkaem, but that's all he'll manage to find. It will be an 8th round on the board for EXTREMUM, and they're slowly starting to chip away. It looked like it might run away from them, but now, you know, only 4 rounds away. Scoped weapons, scarnated with P. Oskar's got a huge share. It's all about who spots first. Timing good for 1. Oh, and ZEDKO's good for 1 of his own. They're making this work, and no way they shut things down like this. The scout tags nearly finishes all. BnTeT low on HP. The USP going for the close angle. Good for D. No, not like this. As BnTeT gets 1, but it's only a consolation kill. Oskar finishes things off, and how is that
impossible for most players? Basically smurfing in this official match. Liazz, though, will quickly take care of NEOFRAG, and Oskar will fall as well, so that's suddenly a very difficult situation to come back from. beastik overextends with a flashbang, and before it actually pops, he'll have to go down as a result. 2 versus 2. ZEDKO, his angle's being watched by Gratisfaction, and we've seen how sharp the aim on that man is. Shock in the meantime, coming through from behind.
Yeah, 2 versus 2 retake here. It's only a good start. ZEDKO's good for 1. Make that a second. A missed shot from Liazz is punished. It's the 14th on the board for Sinners. For all the ways for that to end, that's not how I expected it at all. A missed shot from Liazz is punished, and it's a 14th on the board for Sinners. And now once again for the T side, beastik avoids the flash with ease. Not the second time though, and it's Liazz who picks up the frag. Will make his, or try to make his way down, but Oskar, he's good for 30. All gone a little bit quiet.
Oh yeah. Expecting the jump even. He's even in a position where he could possibly deny a flashbang. Shock in the meantime. He's gotten a kill. The terrorists, they're getting desperate. 1v3. jkaem would have to pull off something incredibly crazy to get this done. Bomb control soon to be his, but 25 seconds on the clock. Is slowly going from bad to worse to impossible. And that flashbang doesn't make it any easier. GG.